C.S. Lewis admired the writings of Thomas Merton, the American monk, and Merton, in one of his journals, comments that he's been reading a pious biography of some saint or bishop or other, who had said, "I've never denied God a moment of my time. I hope he takes that into account." Merton's objecting to the idea that somehow God is in our debt. If we do the right things, God will do the right thing by us. God becomes somebody who obediently reflects our priorities and our agenda. And it's that notion of God as a kind of puppet, God as a kind of great magnified image of me and what I would like and what I would do. It's that sort of fiction that Lewis is also undermining in the Narnia stories. He helps us to see just how often we expect God to be like us. We think, what would I do if I were God? If I were all-powerful, if I were all-knowing, I'd do this, that, and the other, and I certainly wouldn't do this, that, and the other. Surely I wouldn't expose myself to suffering, to risk. Surely I would make the full demands of justice and not think about mercy, or alternatively, surely I would be merciful in all possible circumstances and let people off everything and tell them that their actions and their decisions didn't really matter or didn't really have consequences. So Lewis is trying to wean us away from that picture of God that is simply a big magnified version of us doing what we would do. For Lewis, God is more merciful, more overwhelmingly loving, more chaotically loving than we could ever imagine. Think of those great scenes in the Narnia books where Aslan releases people from the boredom, the drudgery of their lives and leads them in a great dance of celebration. God is more anarchic and messy than anything we could imagine. And at the same time, the hard message is that God is also someone who doesn't let us get away with anything less than the truth. He's not merciful in a sense that tells us, oh, forgive and forget, it doesn't matter. God sits with us as we actually come to terms with the consequences of who we are and what we've made ourselves. So both in joy and in repentance, Lewis's God is one who's very different from the puppet, the image we set up. Somehow we have to let God establish who he is, not simply see him as a reflection of our own faces, as a fulfiller of our own fantasies.